So in the last class, what did we study? We studied about the different civilizations flourished in different parts of the world. And you already know that we were mainly concentrating on Asia and Africa. In that, we studied about the civilizations flourished in Africa. In Africa, you studied about the Egyptian civilization, which flourished on the bank of river Nile. Then you also studied a civilization that flourished in the Asian uh, land, that is Mesopotamian civilization. What is Mesopotamia? Mesopotamia means land between the two rivers. Which are those two rivers? Euphrates and Tigris. So in the third chapter you learnt about the Indus Valley civilization that flourished in Indus, uh, on the bank of the river Indus. So in today's class, let us study one more civilization that flourished in Asia, that is Chinese civilization. Okay, so Chinese civilization flourished in on the bank of the river Hangzhou. So China is a very big country. Let's know more about this civilization. So Chinese civilization, as I told you, it's a very big and a vast landmass where the civilization flourished here. You can see in this slide. So before we know more facts about China's civilization, first we have to know about the river Hangzhou. So river Hangzhou is also called as China's sorrow, and it is also called Yellow River. So let's know why do the people call it as a Yellow River and why this river is also called as China's sorrow. So this river is called as Yellow River because of the color of the soil, that is mainly yellow. That is because the river is surrounded by, I mean, it has most of the parts are surrounded by desert, and obviously the color of the soil is yellow. That's why it is called as Yellow River. Then why is it called as China's sorrow? So we'll come to that point now. So you already have the knowledge that all the civilizations flourished or established on river plains, and there is no exception even to the Chinese civilization, because even the Chinese civilization established on the river plain. So which is that river? That is river Hangzhou. Uh, the river which led to the establishment of Chinese civilization are known as China's sorrow. Why? This is because the river Hangzhou, after the floods, this river changed its course in an unpredictable manner. So, after the floods, what the river did is it changed its course, how it, on which direction it was flowing. It it changed its direction itself. It changed its course itself, and that was not predictable. It was unpredictable. It changed its direction of flowing in an unpredictable manner. So what will happen if a river is flowing in one direction? Okay, and suppose if the river changes its course and starts to flow in a different direction, what will happen? Definitely people have the knowledge of the river, and they live, they have their houses, they have their farmlands, isn't it? And what if the river starts, if the river changes its course of direction, and that definitely will result in damage of houses and even the agricultural croplands. It will definitely spoil the life of the people, because people will not be knowing what is the changed course of rivers. So in the same way, even in China, it had happened that uh, after the river Hangzhou changed its course of its course in an unpredictable manner, it resulted in damaging the houses and agricultural lands, and also it took the lives of several people. So that is why it is called as China's sorrow. It spoiled the life of the people. That's why it is called as China's sorrow. So, and also what the river did, the after changing its course, it it turned all the canals useless. So whatever the canals made for the irrigation purpose, all those canals became useless. So that is the reason why people call this area or refer this river as the symbol of sorrow. So because of this, the river Hango is referred to as China's sorrow, because after changing its course, it had damaged the life of several people and also took the lives of several people and also animals. So this is the reason the river Hango is called as China's sorrow. Let's come to the ruling family of Chinese civilization. So the first ruling family of the Chinese civilization was the Shang dynasty. So around 18th century BCE to 12th century BCE, Shang dynasty ruled this part, that is the Chinese civilization. Okay, uh, under the rule of Shang dynasty, the people had developed a wonderful culture by the 14th century BCE. So people had wonderful cultures. China has different cultures. It is rich in traditions and culture. So under this Shang dynasty, people developed wonderful culture. Okay, the Shang dynasty was overpowered by the neighboring Cha dynasty. So after Shang dynasty, we will see Cha dynasty. Okay, so period between 1122 to 256 BCE. So it is called as the classical period of Chinese civilization, and the Cha dynasty continued the good traditions of the Shang culture and ruled till 250 to 56 BCE. So it continued the rich cultural of Shang dynasty, traditions of Shang dynasty. And if you come to army, so the Shang kings, the army of Shang dynasty, if we speak about the army of Shang dynasty, the Shang kings spent an amount of time in conquest and battles. They used to wage wars. They spent most of the time in conquest and battles. So for that reason, army was very important. So the soldier used to enjoy a dignified place in society. Soldiers had a very good position in the society, and they used to wear bronze helmets. You also wear helmets while riding the bike. You don't ride bike. As a pavilion rider, you all wear helmets, right? So soldiers used to wear bronze helmets and metal armors. So what is the meaning of armor? So armor is a strong covering of body. You can see in this slide, they used to wear armors to cover their body. It's a strong covering to the body. They also use bronze daggers. Okay, then axes, bows, and iron tipped arrows they used to have used during the battles. So now you understood about the army of Shang dynasty. So army was very powerful. It had prominent place. The soldiers were also in a dignified manner. They used to wear bronze helmets. They used to use bronze daggers, axes, bows, and iron tipped arrows. Okay, children? So you now understood about Char dynasty. Then let us know the social divisions of the society. So in the society, there were different classes. So namely of scholars and officials, farmers and peasants, then artisans and merchants. So like this, society was divided based on their work. And the scholars, officials, king was the first class of the society. So the Chow dynasty, in the Chow dynasty, there was a section of officials below the kings. So section of officials, and these officials used to help the kings. Uh, they used to help the kings during the battles. So they used to support the kings during the battles. The king used to allot portions of land to the officials when they support the kings. So in the social stratification, the communities in the next level were the merchants, craftsmen, and also uh, peasants. So usually peasants, majority of peasants were also there, and they had even slaves. Okay, slaves usually in the lowest strata of social hierarchy. The prisoners of war were usually made as slaves by the kings. So this is the social stratification which you see in the Chinese civilization, especially during the Chou dynasty. So next, can you all might have seen this picture, Great Wall of China. So this is the exceptional contribution to the Chinese culture, that is Great Wall of China. So the Chinese constructed this wall to protect their kingdom, protect their uh, people from the external attacks. So in, in the beginning, the Chinese empire consisted of small provinces. And after that, after combining these small provinces, seven big states were created. Okay. Every state that was created thus constructed a wall along its boundary for protection. So before before constructing or before combining the provinces into states, the Chinese empire had different very small provinces, and combining these small provinces, seven big states were created, and every such uh, state was created. uh, they had constructed a wall along its boundary for protection. Okay, so Emperor Qin Shi Huangdi ordered that the walls of the northern Chinese states be connected. So Emperor Qin Shi Huangdi ordered to combine the walls of the northern China. So after that, they connected the walls. So this enabled the northern walls to ward off the attacks of invaders from the north. So the construction of the Great Wall began in the 7th century BCE. So this construction of Great Wall of China, when did it start? It started during the 7th century BCE. Do you know, children, when did it end? It ended during the 16th century. It took so many years to construct such a big and a strong wall surrounding the surrounding China. So in the borders, it took such a long duration, and the worn out parts were repaired and strengthened later. When the work was completed, it stretched to more than 5,000 kilometers. So when the work was completed, when the wall was built, so you know what is the length of this wall? It is more than 5,000 kilometers. Just imagine, children, 5,000 kilometers of strong wall was built to the boundaries of China. It's not a joke, and they took many more years to construct this wall. So that's why it is one of the seven wonders of the world. That's why the Great Wall of China is called as one of the seven wonders of the world. So that's why it is called as an exceptional contribution to the uh, Chinese culture. So now hope you understood about the Great Wall of China. Then what is the contribution of Chinese? You have to know about this. Porcelain is the contribution of Chinese civilization. You all might have used uh, vessels made of porcelain. So it is believed that porcelain originated in China. It is the Chinese who started it first. So semi-porcelain objects were used during 1600 BCE. By the time of the reign of Han dynasty in 200 BCE, it was in practice. So it has developed into an exotic art. The ancient Chinese used to bury their dead along with porcelain pots, animals, and the objects loved most during their lives. Even during the time of uh, last rituals of a person, they used to uh, bury the dead body along with the uh, porcelain pots or animals or objects made of porcelain. So this was the culture of the Chinese. So now you understood that porcelain is the contribution of the Chinese civilization. Then there, if you come to occupation, agriculture was the most important occupation of this civilization. And usually they used to grow rice, wheat, barley, and also millets. Okay, children. Next contribution, we have to speak about the dress. So the Chinese used to wear thin cotton dresses. More importantly, they used silk too. So Chinese were the first one who had the knowledge of silk. So they engaged in silkworm rearing. So silk manufacturing was a prominent industry. So they had the knowledge of uh, silkworm rearing and silk manufacturing. That's why they used to concentrate on manufacturing silk. So this is also one of the contribution from the from the Chinese civilization. So they used to wear cotton dresses. They also had the knowledge of silk. Then if you come to their tradition, their worship, they used to worship their ancestors. Okay, so that they believed in the concept of spirit. Okay, they believed that the dead man become a spirit and that the spirit had special powers. So usually they used to bury the dead body and along with various wooden articles. As I already told you, they also used to keep some porcelain pots, animals, bronze vessels, and other objects. They used to bury their dead bodies. And last but not the least, we have to speak about their script, ideographic script. The Chinese tradition of writing began with pictures and got transformed into an ideographic script. So they also used to write using the pictures. See, you already know this. So that is ideographic script was Chinese writing style. Then writers used to write on silk and even bamboo slips. So this is about their script. Usually it was pictures. So now we understood many facts about Chinese civilization. So Great Wall of China and porcelain are the exceptional contributions of this culture. So now you have the knowledge of Chinese civilization, the river which is responsible for the establishment of the civilization is River Hango. Then you understood about the dynasties, Shang dynasty, Zhou dynasty. Then you understood about the different contributions, especially the Great Wall of China, the use of porcelain, silk, all that you understood. So this is all about the Chinese civilization. You have to read the textbook. If you also can collect more information on this civilization. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good day.